I won't lie, it took me every ounce of energy to get up and make this because in, I guess, 48 hours, all of the fall plays were coming out. So I had to watch A Common Martyr, The Haunting of Hill House, Empanada Loca, and The Feast, starting on Thursday and ending on Saturday. That's a lot of plays in a very short amount of time. But you guys are here not to hear me talk about the plays, but to hear me talk about pirates. Well, there's no time to waste then, so get ready to hoist the black flag and start slitting throats. In today's Welcome to Mystara, because you've selected Piracy. To be fair, there's a lot of piracy in Mystara. Yet, despite being specifically mentioned in the Isle of Dread, War Rafts of Kron, Minrothad Guilds, Irendi, the Five Shires, and the Northern Reaches, not to mention Thyatian, Alphatia, and parts of the Mynean city-states, there's not much mentioned substantially about the profession. Well, let's change that. I'm Mr. Welch, and today we're all about the piratey types. Anywhere there's oceans, there's going to be pirates. I'll also include the privateers, but they're much rarer. Both of the major empires have privateers working as proxies, allowing them to raid each other's shipping, but with plausible deniability, to avoid an international incident. Both sides know about each other's professional pirates, and both sides play along with the ruse because that's how the game is played. Granted, privateers are given a bit more leeway in terms of mercy than just regular pirates. They're considered foreign agents rather than just normal pirates, so they will be imprisoned rather than hanged, and often swapped out and prisoner exchanged, or released for ransom if a particular juicy target is captured. Bear in mind this only applies to the empires. If a Thyatian privateer gets caught captured raiding Minrothad or Yalarum shipping, they can expect no mercy. Piracy in Mystara is mostly divided into two types. You've got the pirates that operate with an unofficial permission, like Minrothad or the Five Shires. Then you've got pirates that work out of unclaimed territories, like the Isle of Dread or the floating city of Kron. For the unofficial pirates, they all have the same restrictions. They can't raid the shipping of their home nation. They can only attack ships of other nations, but they have to bring back the prizes and cargo captured to their home port to offload and sell. Outside their home waters, they have no rights at all. But in their nation, their activities are overlooked so long as they don't bring attention to themselves. Pirates are even national heroes if they restrict their attacks to nations out of favor with their government and just keep it out of national waters. Hen pirates that stick to raiding Thyatian shippings aren't even considered criminals in the Five Shires. Icelandic raiders actually gain prestige when they return with a cargo hold full of captured cargoes. If they are captured, they are treated exactly as unaffiliated pirates and subject to slavery or death in most cases. The freelance pirates are a different story. They operate out of any of the unclaimed islands found south of the known world, or disguise their identities once out in the open ocean. They tend to have less of a moral code than the unofficial pirates. They don't have to appease anyone except themselves. Nothing is out of bound for freelance pirates. They will attack anything they can hope to defeat. Selling off the cargoes is often problematic, because if they capture a cargo they can't immediately convert to gold, they have to find a port that's at least neutral to them to trade. Port Dinabar in Darakin is famous for its no-questions-asked policy, as is Ne'er-do-well in the Alphatian Empire. If desperate, pirates will seek out distant ports they aren't well known in, though the further they travel, the less profit they make on their haul. Pirate weapons consist primarily of three weapons. Catapults, which are quite inaccurate on ships, so they have to shoot them at slow-moving or crippled targets. Ballistas, which do have the option of attaching chains to the bolts. And magic, which of course requires wizards. The standard tactics of pirates is to try to disable an enemy ship, then unleash boarders once the ships are close. Magic is sought after because of its improved accuracy, as well as the ability to stop the ship without harming it with the right selection of spells. Anything that would destroy a target ship is usually avoided unless the ship is a pirate hunter. The only goal is to take the cargo or to seize the ship. Everything else works against the pirate goals. Another weapon that's slowly being introduced to the known world is the cannon. It's exclusively available from the Savage Coast, the nation of Cimarron in particular. Cannons are accurate, devastating, and faster to reload than traditional siege weapons, but the cost to operate them is exorbitant, so much so that their use is considered a luxury or a last resort. Couple that with the risk of getting the Red Curse or having the Inheritors find out when you're trying to obtain cannons and firearms, and they are going to remain a rare sight among most pirate crews. The difficulty of offloading newly acquired cargo depends entirely on how well connected the pirates are. For Thyatian and Alphatian privateers, they have agents waiting at the docks of the larger ports, waiting to unload and launder the cargoes through more legitimate fronts. The crews are paid an agreed-upon price for what cargoes and ships are brought in, with no negotiating involved. The crews that come from nations that accept their piracy have to keep a low profile when offloading, usually under the guise of a merchant ship or slipping into a port at night. Their nations officially can't condone their actions, but they're more than willing to turn a blind eye most of the time. The freelance pirates have to make do with what they can, as they aren't welcome in any port if word of their activities can identify them. Because of this, they largely have to make do with proxy ships, trying to capture merchant vessels that can be sailed into port with stolen goods. They operate out of ports they create themselves, but those are usually violent and disease-filled shanties where they have to spend their ill-gotten gains on cheap booze and prostitutes. They do have the option of the lawless towns of ne'er-do-well and Ocean Sin, but there they have to be on their best behavior as pirates, because if they make a name for themselves that the rulers don't like, they will get exiled from one of the few areas that welcome them. Most pirates have a two-phase operation. Because of the difficulty offloading stolen cargo, they have to pick their targets carefully. Capturing a merchantman filled with precious metals from the mines of Esterholt can make a pirate crew wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. But a cargo full of grain is likely going to spoil before they can sell it. For this reason, most pirate crews have spies trying to determine what cargoes are going on what ships. The Minrothad guilds are heavily invested in this tactic, with their Thieves Guild trying to identify and flag certain vessels for the pirates that work for them. Magic is normally the method of contacting the pirate vessels, but other methods including taking smaller, faster vessels to the waiting pirate ship with the information. The land-based informants have some of the safer jobs as the pirates, though their information had better be correct or their lives are often forfeit. While proving they're working in coordination with the pirates is hard, if anybody is even suspected of tipping off pirates to which ships are the best targets, they're going to find themselves in a gibbet or at the end of the rope rather quickly. Mystara pirates have access both to the spellcasters and the magic items that are common in Mystara. Minrothad has an entire class of wizard known as the Merchant Prince that's devoted to nautical magic. Thyatian privateers team with wizards compared to Oslan and Solderford raiders that work closely with their Godar for clerical aid. Irindi ships are known for their unique magical elements, but fortunately the fire ships aren't used for piracy or raiding. Irindi does have their own pirates, despite their reputation as being peacekeepers of the ocean. Their non-magical ships are some of the best in Mystara. The ships are faster, tougher, and have elite crews compared to the other pirates. That's great for piracy, but the problem is those ships are immediately recognizable because of their design, and the nation of Irindi isn't going to tolerate pirates in their own water because it's bad for tourism. One law all pirates obey is the massacre of prisoners is strictly forbidden. Forget the dread pirate Roberts, all pirates take prisoners. First and foremost, a pirate ship that never takes prisoners and sends entire crews to the deep is going to have a bounty placed on it so high that no port will ever be safe for them. Second, there's money to be made in ransoming nobles and officers. If you find a truly valuable noble on a ship, you will make a lot more money treating them nice and as an honored guest than beating them demanding to know where they've got their money hidden. Ransoms are a part of nobility. If a noble is treated well and not violated or harmed, if you torture the prisoner or worse and word does get out, the relatives of said prisoner will make sure the next ship you run across is going to be sent specifically to sink you. It sounds awesome to never take prisoners as a pirate, but it's very bad for business, and worse, it's the fastest way to get an entire armada to appear on the horizon heading straight at you. Getting the players involved as pirates is quite easy, assuming it wasn't your pitch from the start for your campaign. Several nations actively hire pirates and privateers like Minrothad and Thyatian. Other nations romanticize pirates and consider it a noble adventuring path, including the Five Shires. The party can be conscripted into a pirate ship against their will, either by being shanghaied or drugged in a tavern. If you're playing Beckme or with the Rules Cyclopedia, then the rules for ships are included. If you're playing 5th edition, you're going to need to grab Saltmarsh because that's where they dump the rules instead of the core rulebook. That wraps up this week's Welcome to Mystara. We love pirates, and Mystaran pirates love us back. The Hollow World literally has an entire nation of pirates called appropriately enough the Merry Pirates. The setting does limit the adventure slightly because of the lack of gunpowder, so no cannons for you. But you can always risk the Red Curse and sail over to Cimarron and give them a lot of gold for some cannons. It's a fun campaign that not many people try, but something that's easy enough to run with a little tweaking, at least with the Cyclopedia rules. The latest entry into our poll is the Invisible Moon of Miyashima, the land of samurai jungle space cats, that has almost no information outside of a single entry in Champions of Mystara. We still have Future Conflicts and the History of Thyatian up that are our perennial runners-up, as well as the newer entries like Creature Crucible only parties and finding real-world ethnicities in Mystara. But until next week, remember to swab the poop deck.